Hello and welcome to News Hour on the SLBC. I am Kojo Kwafu. Coming up in tonight's edition of the program, 5 newly appointed commissioners of the Human Rights Commission subscribed to the oath of office before President Bio. Bank of Sierra Leone halts the operations of Rolling Point Limited and Wealthgate Solution Company for operating illegally as financial business institutions. And the Institute of Public Administration and Management and the Directorate of Science, Technology and Innovation signed an agreement to establish an innovation and entrepreneurial ecosystem for students and academic staff. All these stories and more are lined up in tonight's edition of News Hour. The Institute of Public Administration and Management and the Directorate of Science, Technology and Innovation have signed an agreement to establish an innovation and entrepreneurial ecosystem for students and academic staff. The signing ceremony took place at IPAM, Tar Hill. Rose Kunima Stevens reports.
The Memorandum of Understanding is for IPAM to provide an enabling environment on its campus to enable the Directorate create and establish an innovation hub. This will support innovation and entrepreneurial ecosystem, as well as making sure vast opportunities are available for technical and higher education that will benefit all students and academic staff generally.
It is a platform that has been created, which the University of Sierra Leone has to take advantage of. Because as I know from the background, we are going to have faculty members coming from MIT to come and work with the Directorate, the DSTI, and faculty members of the University of Sierra Leone. So it's going to be a training platform for not only students, but also for staff.
Officials at the signing ceremony expressed appreciation over the venture, noting that with the establishment of the facility, students will be motivated to study and improve their capacities for sustainable development. The Institute of Public Administration and Management has a long-standing history of academic excellence and had produced prominent individuals that are key in promoting good governance in the country. The institution caters for students across the sub-regions and beyond. For SLBC News Hour in Freetown, Rose Konima Stevens reporting.
The Deputy Director of the Anti-Fraud Department of the Sierra Leone Police, Assistant Superintendent Martin Collier, has said that Rolling Point Limited and Wealthgate Solution Company have been closed down for operating illegally as financial business institutions. According to Assistant Superintendent Collier, Rolling Point Network Limited and Wealthgate Solution have been into investment and trading on crypto assets without obtaining licenses or permits from the Bank of Sierra Leone. Doreen Bai has the details.
Speaking to journalists, Deputy Director of Anti-Fraud for Criminal Investigation Department, Assistant Superintendent Martin Collier, said that on the 4th of April, they received a complaint from the Bank of Sierra Leone about the illegal and criminal operation of Rolling Point Network Limited, situated at 3B Lamina Sanko Street, and Wealthgate Solution Company of 18 Ecowa Street. He said that the police immediately conducted a search in the two institutions and discovered a sum of over 90 million leones from the Rolling Point network, receipt books and notebooks containing the names of their customers. He informed the media that the police have arrested the managing director of Rolling Point Network Limited to help them with their investigations. He said that the two illegal institutions belong to a Nigerian residing in South Africa. Assistant Director for the Secretary Department, Bank of Sierra Leone, Bigesford Taylor, said that Rolling Point Network Limited and Wealthgate Solution have been operating without obtaining a license or a permit from any financial institution. He said that they have been obtaining monies from people for investment and trade in crypto assets. He warned the public not to deposit or do business with any financial institution that does not obtain license and granted a permit from the Bank of Sierra Leone. He assured the media of their bank's commitment to maintain financial stability in the country. In another development, the head of peacekeeping mission of the Sierra Leone Police, Superintendent John Tumbe, informed journalists that on the 14th of April, a team of over 100 police personnel would depart from Sierra Leone for a peacekeeping mission in Somalia. He said that the Sierra Leone police have deployed peacekeepers in Sudan, South Sudan, and Somalia as a way of helping them regain peace and stability. The Assistant Inspector General of Police, Kale Asisi, spoke about the new developed policies and strategies that will help regulate the activities of masquerades and secret societies in the country. He said that masquerades that want to display in public should apply for police clearance 14 days ahead of their function, whilst secret societies should seek a month clearance. He said that no secret society or masquerade will be allowed to display publicly during religious and public holidays.
5 newly appointed commissioners of the Human Rights Commission, including the chairperson, Patricia Nasudanema, and the vice chairman, Victor Idrissa Lansana, and other commissioners have subscribed to the oath of office before President Julius Maada Bio at State House in Freetown. The commissioners were approved by Parliament on the 4th of April, which gave them the mandate to take the oath of office.
At its sitting last week, approved commissioners Patricia Nasudanema as chairman, Victor Idris Lansana as vice chairman, Miyaja Simiti Lavali and Gassan Abes as commissioners. Speaking on behalf of her colleagues, Chairman of the Human Rights Commission, Patricia Nasudanema, expressed her deepest thanks and appreciation to President Julius Maada Bio for giving them the opportunity to serve as commissioners. Commissioner Danema told President Julius Maada Bio that they are ready to serve and promise to do their level best to improve the human rights situations across the country.
We really feel honored and trusted to occupy such a strategic position that will put us in a situation where we could speak out on behalf of the rights holders we have to serve. Your Excellency, sir, all commissioners are fully aware of the huge task at hand, especially in terms of rebuilding the image of the Commission and also for the protection of the rights of the many rights holders that await our intervention. We want to assure you that we are fully equipped with the relevant professional experience and academic background to push forward human rights situation in this country. And we are determined to take this particular position seriously in terms of the execution of our duties.
President Julius Maada Bio congratulated the newly appointed commissioners, highlighting that they have been meticulously chosen to serve the country, as in every governance structure, the roles of the human rights commissioners are significant.
Every aspect of governance, the role you are playing is going to be very important. So a lot falls on you. You know what is expected of you, the standard expectation, and as a nation, we are going to depend on you to protect the human rights of us all sitting here and those who are not in here. But I just want to assure you of government's support as you do your duties, and to let you know that we are counting and looking up to you to perform those duties.
In another development, the Electoral Commissioner South, Mr. Edmond S. Alpha, and the Judicial and Legal Service Commissioners, Justice Reginald Sidney Finn and Mohamed Lamin Tarawali, also subscribed to the oath of office before President Julius Maada Bio at State House. The Electoral Commissioner South, Edmond Alpha, extended his heartfelt thanks and appreciation to President Bio for the trust and confidence in appointing him to such an enviable position. He assured the president and Sierra Leoneans that he will work assiduously with the leadership of the National Electoral Commission, have respect for leadership and national consciousness on elections, and a level playing ground for all political parties and stakeholders. He acknowledged that the National Electoral Commission has in past years been acclaimed both nationally and internationally as a professional body with the capacity to conduct credible, transparent and impartial elections.
As a professional body with the capacity to conduct credible, transparent and impartial elections. I have been part of the management team over the years that have been supportive and working relentlessly behind the scene in the realization of NEC's vision. I want to assure you all that I will work with my CEC chairman, commissioners, staff and people of Sierra Leone as a team player with collective participation, constructive engagement and consultations on matters that will add credence to our professionalism as a commission. Together, we shall strive to strengthen nationalism in elections, accountability, integrity and self-reliance, so that come 2022 and 2023 and beyond, we shall conduct credible elections in this country that will place Sierra Leone on the democratic platform of maturation for national cohesion, sustainable development and peaceful coexistence.
President Julius Maada Bio congratulated Commissioner Alpha and called on him to perform his duty with all amounts of professionalism that will help to build national cohesion and strengthening the democratic principles of the country.
I have the support of the government as an institution and will give you all of that support to make sure you function well. I wish you the best during the tenure of your office, and of course you know the importance of your role in conducting and making sure that those elections that you conduct are credible.
Justice Reginald Finn, president of the Court of Appeal, and lawyer Mohammed Lamin Tarawali, recently appointed Solicitor General, took the oath of office and thanked the president for the opportunity given them to serve the country. Also at State House, the Chinese ambassador designate to Sierra Leone, Hun Zhenglin, has presented his letter of credence to President Julius Maada Bio and was introduced by the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Nimatulai Bachand, to other ministers who attended the ceremony. SABC TV News Eye in Freetown, Hawa Mosiwe reporting.
A human rights and development organization, ART Resourceful Tourism in Sierra Leone, has launched a campaign called Dual Citizens' Rights to Vote and Be Voted For at a news conference held in Freetown. The campaign theme is To Sin is a Right, Let's Change Depriving Laws. Ibrahim Samura reports.
The campaign was launched after over 200 Sierra Leoneans were prevented from being awarded symbols for their various political parties to run for various public offices, especially for parliamentary seats. According to the Chief Executive Officer, Sheikha Mansari Jr., they launched the campaign to call the attention of government to look into the laws on dual citizenship so that they will have the right to vote and be voted for. Noting that Sierra Leoneans with dual citizenship have contributed immensely to the country's socio-economic developments. Mr. Mansari Jr. said campaigners view those clauses in the 1991 Constitution as discriminatory and human rights violation. He said during the campaign they will engage legal practitioners, the Law Reform Commission, government and parliament.
The dual citizenship issue that was brought up in the 2018 electoral process, we believe, is nothing but a ploy to destroy the fabric of our democracy. It is a fundamental abuse on the rights of fellow citizens living in overseas. In that regard, I would like to expatiate on the impact of that decision. The World Bank itself could agree with me, and our organization at Sierra Leone, and you, the members of the press, will also agree that remittances coming into the country plays a key and a pivotal role in driving our economy to sustain itself and push it forward to terminal growth.
Mr. Maswai noted that in the 2018 general elections, hundreds of Sierra Leoneans were disenfranchised because they were dual citizens, stating that the campaign is apolitical.
Largely realize that the dollar is heavily destroying the Leones. Some of the reason has been this work. Sierra Leoneans, after the elections, held back their money. Nobody puts his or her money where his or her mouth is not there. And that could be another factor of the hardship in the nation.
He said a similar campaign has been launched in England by Sierra Leoneans and called on human rights watchdogs and well-meaning Sierra Leoneans to join them in the campaign.
The Dr. Springer Trust has turned out more than 30 students, including persons with disabilities, who had completed various courses in ICT and other related disciplines. The graduation, which happened at the DST's headquarters on Pulteney Street, attracted members of the diplomatic community. Asmi Ba was there.
This young lady is just one among many persons with disability who have been given hope when society had almost written them off. With a few months' course, she is going home more equipped than she came to the center, which has turned out close to 100 persons with disability. Established close to 10 years ago by this Sierra Leonean, who himself, had it not been for a British woman, would have ended up like many other PWDs roaming the streets of Freetown aimlessly and hopelessly. Dr. Doumbouya, since his return from the UK in 2009, has been using his own story as someone who grew up at the Cheshire home to help capacitate this class of people whom most times society looks low upon.
And over that period, we've trained over 80 disabled people, out of which we've got something like 70 of them are in employment. That's an incredible statistics. You heard the chairman when he was saying that disabled people are normally not given opportunities. And we've come and changed. We've made a huge paradigm shift from having disabled people not being recognized for their talent to now being recognized and given job opportunities. You'll meet some of them here today.
These graduates completed their course from various disciplines that will earn them jobs in the competitive job markets. Vice-Chancellor, Theological College, Reverend Canon Reginald Spain-Pratt, said society looks low upon persons with disability, but was full of commendation for DST for giving hope through skills training to these young people. Chairman Board of Trustees DST UK, Rob Lear, encouraged the disabled community to be courageous and determined to achieve their dreams. The Chief Executive Officer, Dorothy Springer Trust, Dr. Abdullahi Doumbouya, explained that the fund was named after the woman who took him to the UK and helped him gain education up to PhD level. Dr. Doumbouya told his audience that many of the people who had gone through the training have secured jobs in both the private and public sector, citing the police as one institution that has given employment to disabled persons. The CEO said part of the funds for the training was provided by the British High Commission and the Irish Embassy.
Giving job opportunities. You'll meet some of them here today.
These graduates completed their course from various disciplines that will earn them jobs in the competitive job markets. Vice-Chancellor, Theological College, Reverend Canon Reginald Spain-Pratt, said society looks low upon persons with disability, but was full of commendation for DST for giving hope through skills training to these young people. Chairman Board of Trustees DST UK, Rob Lear, encouraged the disabled community to be courageous and determined to achieve their dreams. The Chief Executive Officer, Dorothy Springer Trust, Dr. Abdullahi Doumbouya, explained that the fund was named after the woman who took him to the UK and helped him gain education up to PhD level. Dr. Doumbouya told his audience that many of the people who had gone through the training have secured jobs in both the private and public sector, citing the police as one institution that has given employment to disabled persons. The CEO said part of the funds for the training was provided by the British High Commission and the Irish Embassy. Deputy British High Commissioner Alistair White said they are impressed with VST and expressed the Commission's support at all times. Irish Ambassador to Sierra Leone, Catherine Campbell, encouraged the new trainees to be steadfast and praised DST for capacitating persons with disability. Mayor of Freetown City Council, Yvonne Akisoya, expressed council's determination to improve the environment for persons with disability. She disclosed that very soon 50% of municipal schools will have teachers to look after persons with special needs. According to the mayor, by 2022, 1,000 persons with disability in the municipality will receive skills training from the council.
Dr. Ads is not just an initiative lead, but they truly are partners with City Council. We are committed to ensuring that what we see today, what will be happening at the Cheshire Home, will be scaled up, and that the dots will be joined with other organizations in the city who are doing similar work. The quality of what's being done here at Dorothy Springer is really exemplary.
As they go home with these certificates, some of them came here never having touched the button of a computer, but now they have acquired some skills in ICT, which have prepared them to turn to a new page in their lives. For SLBC News, Asmi Uba.
Members of the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College are in the country on a study visit. The team consists of representatives from Ghana, Togo, Niger, Zambia and Nigeria. Our reporter Amara Sumaila witnessed the presentation done by them at the Ministry of Finance's conference room on George Street.
The commandant of the Ghana Armed Forces Commander and Staff College, Rear Admiral M. Baik Bafour, who led the delegation to Sierra Leone, stated that their program is integrated into several courses. He further cited that the college has 67 students from 13 African countries, maintaining that the students have been divided into 5 groups, pursuing similar study tours in other sister countries. During an interview with him, he spoke extensively about their visitation.
And this year the theme for our study is fostering an inclusive and sustainable development for Africa. Well, we have gone through the Ministry of Defense, quite a number of ministries, and they have given us the Sierra Leonean perspective of this topic. We are now going to go back home, and then the students whose main duty is to conduct this research will now analyze and then compare with what they have been taught to come up with their research work.
In a presentation on the role of the Ministry of Finance in fostering an inclusive and sustainable development for Africa, Sierra Leone's Deputy Financial Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, Emmanuel T. Komba, deliberated on how the government is promoting economic diversification in which the nation is moving away from reliance on primary commodity, which is the exportation of minerals. He added that to achieve government's commitment to build an inclusive and resilient society requires careful drafting of national development agenda that will reflect on the citizens. He further highlighted key areas of government's intervention. In her statement, the Deputy Minister of Finance, Patricia Lavalley, appreciated Ghana for their continued support to Sierra Leone and spoke about one of Ghana's flagship program, One District, One Factory, One Village, One Dam, very essential in the provision of jobs for the citizens. She added that Social Security Investment Trust is part of government's priority and that the yearly budget of the government of Sierra Leone is $750 million. She concluded that the government will introduce rental income tax, which is new in the country.
The General Manager of Guma Valley Water Company, Mada Penge, has said that Guma Valley will shut down water supply on Friday the 12th of April from 8 p.m. to Saturday the 13th of April at 8 a.m. due to the damage on their pipe at the Juba Old Bridge. He explains more.
standing here on the old Juba Bridge. We have a problem now, a high crude.
Yes,
we have a problem with this stretch of pipeline over there. Here, as you can see, the pipe is highly corroded, probably from people urinating on the pipe at night. So we really have a program to replace this pipeline in October. But over the past few weeks, we've had several busts on this pipe. Even last week, Friday, there was a bust, and Sunday there was a bust. So what we want to do now, we want to shut down tomorrow, Friday, 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. so we can do something about this coupling. Apparently, it's a failure of our own systems to even have allowed that tree to grow over there for several years. But anyway, now we're ready to take corrective action. So we need to replace that coupling so that leakage is mended. And over there, we need to replace, there are several patches on that pipeline. And what we plan to do is cut the pipe, cut all those patches out and put a new stretch of pipe in. So that will probably take about 12 hours.
12 hours. So it's just going to be
a 12 hours.
To
minimize the disruption to service to the city, we plan to do it throughout the night.
Well, that was the General Manager of Guma Valley Water Company, Mada Penge. The Sierra Leone Chamber of Commerce and Agriculture have officially launched the 2019 Trade Fair at the National Stadium. The aim is to transact Sierra Leonean businesses with other sub-regional countries, including Ghana, Guinea, amongst others. Let's join Rose Konima Stevens.
This year's trade fair attracts not only local produce, but also international participants displaying their wares.
Because as a businessman, I'm supposed to sell the best, then it will last. Than to bring something inferior, buy with money, and then after just one wash, you can wear it again. We've been here for almost 15 years now in Sierra Leone. Even though we are Ghanaians, we are established here in Sierra Leone. Well, it's been slow this time, more like the previous years. It's been slow. The market is not responding as it used to be. So it's slow now. So it's very tough.
The president of the Sierra Leone Chamber of Commerce and Agriculture, Christopher John Foster, said the institution is working hard to improve trade in the country. The trade fair, he went on, seeks to improve marketing through presentation and packaging to enable the country compete with other trades in the sub-region. He encouraged the traders to display their goods and services to attract customers.
Manufacturers and businesses in Sierra Leone are competing with their counterparts not only in the ECOWAS region but throughout Africa. So we really need to step up our game, be professional, be efficient, have products that are well packaged, and be serious about how we market them and how we conduct our business.
Director General, Local Content Agency, Fodiba Dabo, said their mandate is to not only promote local content policy that will enable increase in the country's revenue generation, but also improve on the standard of the policy. He called on all business-minded people to improve on their business techniques that will ensure better dividends.
It is government's priority that there is no way we can change the narratives but by strengthening our domestic private sector. So that's how the local content, this team, the team for this year's Chamber of Commerce exhibition have set it off, which is to promote local in promoting made in Sierra Leone.
The traders at the trade fair said business is slow due to the trend in the country, the reason why the trade fair will be extended to the 28th of this month. Reporting for SLBC News, Rose Konima Stevens.
The newly elected paramount chiefs of Nongoa and Nomo chiefdoms in the Kenema district have been installed and inaugurated by President Julius Maada Bio at a well-attended ceremony by community members and government officials at State House. The elections of the paramount chiefs were conducted in February and March this year. Hawa Mosiri reports.
Paramount Chief Sadiq Sila Kapoa of Nongoa Chiefdom and Paramount Chief Patrick Kane Kaba of Nomo Chiefdom were overwhelmed with joy as they received their staffs from the president to go back to their chiefdoms and rule their people. Reading a brief biography of both paramount chiefs, Provincial Secretary Eastern Province Mohammed S. Kagbo said that Paramount Chief Sadiq Kapua IV was born in 1950 in Lagoja, Sawabu, and he is the 8th child of the 11 children of the Kapua family. Attended the Bow School and furthered his education at the Frobe College. After his university education, he started teaching at the Yuma Secondary School and later decided to teach at the Government Secondary School, Kenema. From the teaching field, he entered the civil service, where he worked in several ministries and attained the highest rank as senior civil servant. With this vast experience, according to the Provincial Secretary, he will be able to govern his chiefdom effectively. Paramount Chief Patrick Kane Kaba of Nomo Chiefdom was born on April 12, 1945 in Pandebuch village and started his primary and secondary education in Chegbema. After his education, he moved to Liberia to settle. According to Mr. Kagbo, he learned several skills in management and community development, where he started managing the rubber plantation and served the government of Monrovia. President Julius Maada Bio commended the two paramount chiefs on their election as paramount chiefs in their respective chiefdoms, but with a great responsibility, and called on them for the two chiefdoms to develop and be peaceful.
Gladly, and I want to use this opportunity for congratulating you.
With the vast experience of both of you, I hope you'll be able to govern your people, as it is now time to show your people how relevant you are. Adding that in those days, paramount chiefs used to be respected by their community people, but that respect has been taken away due to bad politics.
Of course, that goes with a lot of responsibilities. The Chief Wesidonaya, when I am the chairman for the Council of Paramount Chiefs, know which is the responsibility of paramount chiefs. It will always be a difficult job, but it is even more difficult today. So very soon the honeymoon go down, the dance go down, and then the blabber they will begin. And if you know how to preside over the blabber the day, and make sure say number one and no more remain peaceful and they on the path of development.
Local Government and Rural Development Minister Anthony Brewer thanked the National Electoral Commission for the free and fair elections conducted so far in the two chiefdoms. This, he said, he has not received any petition since after the elections, and that he was pleased to present the paramount chiefs to President Bio. One of the paramount chiefs, Sadiq Mohammed Kapua, commended the people of Nomo and Nogowa chiefdoms for electing them as their representatives, as the whole idea started as a dream but now a reality. He thanked the president because it was through his profound leadership such elections were conducted transparently and peacefully, assuring the people of the two chiefdoms of more development programs to be implemented because of their vast experience. This has been the usual tradition in Sierra Leone. After the elections of paramount chiefs, they have to be installed and inaugurated by the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Two paramount chiefs from Kenema district have been inaugurated by President Julius Maada Bio at State House. Paramount Chief Mohammed Sadiq Kapua of Nogowa Chiefdom and Paramount Chief Patrick Kane Kaba of Nomo Chiefdom.
We've come here today to inaugurate our Paramount Chief, Mr. Kapua. We have done the celebration today and it was well done.
So what would be your expectation from Honorable Sadiq Kapua in Nogowa Chiefdom?
We're expecting that our Paramount Chief will do well. We pray that let God give him long life and prosperity so that we will work in unity, peace and love so that the development of Kenema will grow.
Our expectation from our newly elected Paramount Chief is to unite the people and bring development to the children. That is our key expectation from him.
In another development, the Council of Churches Sierra Leone has paid a courtesy call on President Julius Maada Bio at State House to congratulate him on the strides made during his 1 year in office. During the courtesy call, Bishop Archibald Cole told President Bio that they, as God's servants, have been praying for God's richest blessing to be on him in ruling the country effectively. Highlighting some of the major strides President Bio's administration has made, Bishop Archibald Cole noted that the free quality education, the fight against corruption, declaration of public emergency on rape and sexual violence, and the banning of masquerades on holidays have showed his determination for good leadership. He called on President Julius Maada Bio to continue working in the area of national unity and cohesion, and also appealed to him for religious leaders to be part of the free quality education, as they want the government to succeed in the education sector.
Words are inadequate to express our delight in your personal involvement in promoting your flagship program, Free Quality Education. The role of faith-based proprietors in furthering education in this country cannot be overemphasized. Thus, we wholeheartedly share your dream of uplifting education in our country. Your Excellency, the history of the development of education in this country has been one of partnership between government and private proprietors, most of them faith-based.
As spiritual guarantors, there is the need for them to be involved in nation building and national development, as well as after his election, his administration had been involved in a lot of things, and people must accept the fact that so much had gone wrong. President Bio told the men of God that so much has been said about the free quality education from the launching to the implementation stage, and that everybody has to be involved and contribute greatly for it to succeed, as the importance of education cannot be overemphasized. Calling on parents, teachers and directors to play their own roles, as the country was known as the anthem of West Africa, but it lost its glory because of bad governance, and that is why he has been moving around to rebrand the country's image.
We will not be part of the 21st century if we do not have an educated, skilled, productive human resource space. It is extremely difficult. It's very competitive out there, and the best way to invest in human capital is actually education. But this is not only, this should not just be a government's program. It should be everybody's program. So I've had a few chats with people who tell me, oh, you've opened up this, but then you have to control the kids. You have to, let them behave in school. Where are the parents?
President Bio noted that the fight against corruption has not been an easy task, as his administration has given all the necessary support to the ACC and other institutions in the fight against corruption, although some people refer it to as witch hunts because of the strategies he has put in place. In the area of the state of emergency, there was the need to declare it, as the situation was going from bad to worst, like sexually penetrating a 3-month-old baby and more.
Rape. When I listened to the Rainbow, when they presented the statistics about rape in this country, and the type of rape of itself is bad. But when you decide to 3-month babies, 5 months, 1 year, 3 years, you kill them. It's just not human. So when people started arguing it should not be an emergency, then how do we feel when you kill a baby for your own pleasure? That is not emergency enough. I owe it as a moral obligation to this nation to protect even the unborn child.
President Bio assured the spiritual leaders of his continuous commitment in making the country develop, but they too should contribute, adding that international donors who left the country are now back because of what his government has put in place. SABC TV News are in Freetown. How must we reporting?
Leaders from Ulster's music group and Music for Girls Initiative Africa have told the Commission of Inquiry that they were not aware that funds received towards their projects were from the Youth in Drainage project. This was in evidence in respect of 550 million leones that they received from the project in 2016 and 2017 respectively. Princess Gibson was at Commission 64, presided over by Commissioner Biobel.
Led in evidence by State Counsel Oladipo Robin Mason and Khadija Bangura, Commission witnesses President All Stars Musicians Milton Coker and CEO Music for Girls Initiative Esther Michael acknowledged receipts of funds from the Road Maintenance Fund Administration through the Ministry of Youth Affairs. Milton Coker told the Commission of Inquiry that as union of musicians comprising young people in the country, they wrote a project proposal to the Ministry of Youth Affairs to support a trip to the United States after the Ebola outbreak. This trip, he said, was to rebrand the image of the country, to promote investment opportunities at an event dubbed Made in Sierra Leone concept. The project's proposal was responded to by the Road Maintenance Fund through the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth Affairs, who gave them 500 million loans. This fund, he said, was used for the trip to the USA with a 23-man delegation. Commission witness CEO Music for Girls Initiative, Esther Michael, told the Commission of Inquiry that her organization seeks the interest of women and girls who are funded through project proposals to different organizations. In 2016, she said a project proposal was sent to the Road Maintenance Fund Administration through the Ministry of Youth Affairs. She said in 2016, she received the sum of 98 million loans and 50 million loans in 2017 for Life Skills, Excellence Award, Arts Exhibition, and Essay Competition. When State Counsel asked the Commission witnesses whether they are aware that the funds received were from the Youth in Drainage projects for specific purpose, they replied that they were not aware and that the Ministry of Youth Affairs and the Road Maintenance Fund Administration were among organizations written for sponsorship. Also at Commission 64, Commission witnesses Masayo Mansare and Admin Officer Youth in Drainage Project Umuna Tuture also explained to the Commission their role in the respective projects. The Commission has taken recess and will resume on the 20th April. Princess Gibson, SLBC News.
The Catholic Relief Service, CRS, through the Freetown City Council, has supported victims of last month's fire disaster at Susan's Bay to rebuild their lives. As Patrick Salia reports, the fire broke out at the post-slum community, leaving more than 50 families homeless and properties worth millions of leones destroyed.
The executive director of the Catholic Relief Organization, Caritas, Reverend Father Peter Conte, said they are known to respond to human sufferings, especially disasters.
We are attending to three categories. Ones that totally lost their house, some were partial, and some were just few things that are needed. And so we had a couple of consultations, not to impose our own intervention, and after the consultation, we decided that we are going to help out with building materials, which include zinc, nails, cement, sticks, and so on. So enable the people also to take their own destiny in their hands.
This site had a house with 7 apartments, and the fire incident, according to eyewitnesses, was caused by one Haja Kanu who was cooking with a locally made stove in her veranda. Haja, the residents say, had been cautioned on many occasions not to cook in the said area. Local youth supplied crude means to put out the fire, but were unable.
It is these kind of situations that climax the argument of taking the slum from the people or taking the people away from the slum. But with the limited resources of the state that have to be evenly distributed to other sectors, it is a daunting task, or a thorny issue in fact, for the government even to think of taking the people away from the slum.
Susan's Bay is part of Ward 427, and Madinatu Kamara is the councillor representing the area.
Patrick, to start with, I was born and bred in this community. I was born and raised in this community. I know each and every person in this community. So for you to say you can take the people from the slum is very difficult. So the only thing I'm asking the government to do for now is for them to take the slum from the people so that they can live a very good and comfortable life.
This is the second fire incident in 2 months so far for 2019 in a community more susceptible to the reoccurrence of such. Victims of the earliest incident this year are however still squatting with neighbors because they say help is yet to come for them. Aside the fire vulnerability, waste management is also a major challenge here at the Suzzans Bay, with its drainage system among the worst in the city. The reason the Freetown City Council introduced the flood mitigation program. In another development, the mayor of Freetown, Yvonne Akisoya, told students in the tourism sector at a speaker series that the city has the potential to claw back its past glory as one of the finest cities in Africa. This is part of the job creation cluster in the Transform Freetown program, which has 11 priorities and several targets.
In that, we have 2 targets. The first one, well, the overall target is the 4,000, creating 4,000 jobs in the tourism sector, 4,000 tourism-related jobs. But in order to do that, we have 2 key initiatives. The first one is Discover Freetown campaign, which is all about our assets, our preservation, preserving our historical assets, our history. But the second one, which is really important and which is the focus of today, is really strengthening the hospitality sector.
The idea to transform the municipality, she notes, starts with the environment.
The transformation of Freetown is not dependent on just me. It's dependent on each one of us, Freetonians. But it's so fantastic. When I was leaving the office today, there were 2 people, Dr. Johnson and Mr. Pratt. They're both diaspora, an older lady and an older gentleman, who are passionate about helping FCC restore our cemeteries, protect our cemeteries. They're going to work on that. And that's what we're seeing. When you see the dustbins, the yellow dustbins, they're being gifted. We've paid for some, but we've had donations from locally and from abroad.
Chief Executive Officer of Leisure Lodge Hotel, Tamba Aliyu Kokobe, who doubles as president of the country's Hotels Association, entreated the hotel business students to learn, among other things, foreign languages in order to communicate with guests. He encouraged them to involve their personal time to work in order to satisfy the customer. The industry, he said, is a human resources-oriented area, and further encouraged them to take hygiene consciousness and honesty as their watchword. The industry, Mr. Kokobe emphasized, is not for half-baked or dropouts. For SLBC News in Freetown, Patrick Salia reporting.
It is now time for the African news. In news around the continent, Sudan's defense minister has said after nearly 30 years in power, Sudan's President Omar al-Bashir has been ousted and arrested. Speaking on state television, Awad Ibn Auf said the army has decided to oversee a 2-year transitional period followed by elections. He said a 3-month state of emergency was being put in place. Protests against Mr. Bashir, who has governed Sudan since 1989, have been underway for several months. A Libyan teenager has started a campaign which she hopes will encourage peace in the country. 15-year-old Sajida Sharif started fasting once a week and hopes her actions will send a message to those in power. The country has faced violence, political instability and power struggles since long-time ruler Muammar Gaddafi was deposed and killed in 2011. Members of South Africa's governing African National Congress, ANC, have abandoned plans to ban the book Gangster State following strong criticism from senior leaders of the party. The National Assembly Speaker and ANC member Baleka Mbete said she condemned in the strongest terms the repulsive acts of criminality and flagrant attack on the key principles of their constitutional democracy by threats to burn copies of the book, which exposes the alleged corruption of the powerful ANC Secretary General Ace Magashule in his home province of Free State. It's now time for the sports news.
Hello and welcome to Sports Updates. In this edition, the executive of the Sierra Leone Football Association has updated President Julius Maada Bio about the just concluded first round of the Sierra Leone Premier League. The first round of the league, according to the acting president, Boema Mazola Kamara, ended on Wednesday with a goalless draw between East Lions and Port Authority Football Club. Hamosi has more. We are sorry, details of that story will meet you in a subsequent program. Kent Cricket Club Sierra Leone has distributed huge quality of cricket equipment to 9 cricket clubs and 2 football clubs in the country. The cricket equipment were donated to Cricket Club by Savannah's Cricket Charity based in the UK. The items were distributed to the clubs at the Siaka Stevens Stadium Atlantic Hall in Freetown. Here is a report. To play cricket requires a lot of cricket equipment. These include bat, cricket ball, gloves, stumps, batting pads, wicket-keeping pads. These cricket equipment are expected to be used by the selected cricket clubs in the country. Chief Executive Officer of the Sierra Leone Cricket Association, Francis Trevor Samora, commended the efforts of Kent Cricket Club for its move in promoting cricket in Sierra Leone. He said in 2013, the Kent Cricket Club was expelled from the Cricket Association, but the issue was later resolved. Kent Cricket Club, he said, has been contributing immensely to the growth of cricket, maintaining that he wants cricket to be popularized in the country. CEO of Kent Cricket Club, Emmanuel Pesima, said since 2016 they have requested for these items from their partners in the UK, which he noted is expected to be used for its intended purpose by the beneficiaries.
We sent some of our coaches to the schools and clubs to check on what they require, what they want. So what we observed that we have officially, like those clubs, because already we have donated equipment to the women's team. So we realized that most of these men's team, they don't have equipment. So all of them, so we decided that those that don't have, we give them. But honestly, I will tell you that this will have to benefit more than 5,000 people. I will tell you that. Because it is not only today. That's why we have told them already we will have to do what we call monitoring and evaluation in the first 4 months to check the progress they have made. And then the last 12 months we'll have to do it again.
British High Commissioner Guy Warrington said cricket is now a great sport in the world, which Sierra Leone should emulate. He commended the Sierra Leone national female cricket team for winning laurels at international level, noting that the Sierra Leone Cricket Association has been the most successful discipline in the country. The equipment were distributed to the various cricket clubs. Esther Marie Samoa, SLBC. Details of that story will meet you. That is the news that has to do with the executive meeting with President Julius Maada Bio. That's all for sports in this edition. Over to you, Kojo.
Yes, many thanks there, Esther Marie Samura, for the sports update. Well, film has been developed out of a narrative and dramatic tradition in which the art of storytelling is a central concern. There are different ways of communicating or sending a message. Most Sierra Leonean filmmakers have done their best in spreading out positive messages through movies, and Michaela Salu is one of such people. But she is also an activist heading an organization called Women Against Humanity, which has something to do with mentoring. Michaela is planning on launching 2 movies titled Santana City, The Chase, and Santana City, The Raid. Also, the Nigerian teen actress Regina Daniels has been rumored to marrying a 59-year-old business tycoon. Our entertainment producer Mohammed King Milan Bangura compiled these reports, read by Marilyn Samo and Millicent Luke.
Entertainment is not all about music in Sierra Leone, but also movies, dancing and drama. movie is now taking the center stage in ensuring that entertainment is taken to a higher height. One will argue that the best form of communication is done through movies. Many Sierra Leonean filmmakers have done their best in spreading positive messages through movies, and Michaela Sello is one of them. Michaela is not only an actress but a filmmaker, co-producer, scriptwriter, activist, and a freelance journalist. Michaela was born in Freetown and went through her primary schooling at the St. Anthony Girls Primary School. She did her secondary schooling at the Freetown Secondary School for Girls and later proceeded to the Milton Magai College of Education and Technology, where she read diploma in accounting and finance. She said as a child her dream was to become a journalist, but due to her passion for acting, she decided to go into movie world. She started acting stage drama and was part of some theater groups in eastern part of Freetown until when she professionally came into acting movies. Her first movie was with Jamcast Production, and she has acted in over 10 movies. But the movie that gave her the stardom was Deep in the Game, where she starred as one of the gangsters. Michaela said she's a versatile actor who can play all kinds of roles given to her in a movie. Apart from being an actor, she's also an activist. She came into activism because of her personal experience in her childhood days, as she was not opportune to grow with her parents. She said all major decisions were made on her own. At present, she's heading an organization called Women Against Humanity, which has something to do with mentoring.
So we do mentor young girls, both in school and out of school. We have a safe space at the Boutique community that deals with both in school and out of school girls. And we also have the in school girls, the Women Against Humanity school club girls. So we do mentorship training for them, career building. So by the time they take the WASC exam, they know exactly what they want and why. They will be guided properly.
Michaela, as a filmmaker, has produced various movies including Opera, 21 Days Nambara.
Always an activist. Come on, but you have passion for acting. Support the entertainment industry. Make us proud of us being an actress. First lady, you know what acting has done for you, the borders and everything. Empower us with the entertainment industry. We don't want money, we just want the structure. Let there be structure. We can make the money for ourselves.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian teen actress Regina Daniels, who just turned 18 last year, has been rumored that she got wedded to a Nigerian business tycoon and politician 59-year-old Honorable Ned Nkon. It was believed that Ned has been dating Regina long before she turned 18 on 18th October 2018. Some consider that a crime, as it was believed he has been dealing with a minor. But an insider said he never touched her before marrying her, hence delayed the marriage to make her more mature. It is believed that the secret marriage made her the sixth wife for Honorable Ned Nkon, as he is a devoted Muslim and he is entitled to marry more than a wife. At the introduction, which was held in the bride's family home in Asaba, Delta State, attendees were allegedly barred from taking pictures. However, the silence was still loud enough for the world to know what went on. Recently, Regina Daniels has been seen in flashy cars and private airplane. Later, she posted a new house on her social media, which she gifted her mother. Honorable Ned Nkon is a London-trained lawyer who runs a big law chamber in the United Kingdom. He served as a member of the House of Representatives between 1999 and 2003. He also contested in the 2019 election.
And now, to end the news, here once again are the main points. 5 newly appointed commissioners of the Human Rights Commission have subscribed to the oath of office. Bank of Sierra Leone has halted the operations of Rolling Point Limited and Wealthgate Solution companies for operating illegally as financial business institutions. And the Institute of Public Administration and Management and the Directorate of Science, Technology and Innovation have signed an agreement to establish an innovation and entrepreneurial ecosystem for students and academic staff. Well, that's all in this edition of News Hour on the SLBC. On behalf of the news team, I am Kojo Kwafo, and thanks for watching. Good night.